It's still Politics Thursday on AM Chat, and we're glad to have you rejoin us. We would be doing more of an interactive conversation of this segment on the program rather than analysis. We do have our guest right here with us in the studio in person of Barrister Wofai, a legal practitioner who is highly skilled in the business. But in the meantime, we'll be x-raying the major issues making the front headlines of different papers. I'm starting with the Nigerian Tribune. The headline say on the Nigerian Tribune says Nigeria should increase VAT rates. Nigeria should increase VAT rates, IMF. That's on page 10. Supports fuel subsidy removal. Task federal government on careful borrowing. All of that is coming from the president of IMF, and that's on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. We're ready for diversification of economy. That's from the Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki. NFF top staff, Abubakar shot dead. That's on page 45. NFF top staff, Abubakar shot dead. That's rather a pathetic and sad one. New electricity tariff takes off on February 1. That's on page 11 of the Nigerian Tribune. New electricity tariff takes off on February 1. Ambode appoints Fagbon as LASU Vice Chancellor. That's on page 41. Fagbon is being appointed as LASU Vice Chancellor by the Governor of Lagos State. New fuel price. DPR gets tough on airing matters. DPR gets tough on airing matters. For whatever that headline is meant for, you should find that on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Ex-FIRS boss Omogu Okaru to head Lagos 25 billion naira employment trust fund. Lagos 25 billion naira entrustment trust fund is to be headed by the ex-FIRS boss Omogu Okaru. There are several stories in the Nigerian Tribune, but I'd like us to touch very briefly on excuse me, I'd like us to touch very briefly on the IMF. I mean, the president was here, or the chairman of the IMF was here a few days ago, and she talked about lots of issues, but she was very particular about the fact that Nigeria is a great nation, and our economy is the strongest in Africa, so she's not coming here to talk to us about borrowing. And I'm glad that she was very emphatic on that. But from all she said, and then she talked about removal of fuel subsidy, what do you think that portends for Nigeria if an international body is coming to Nigeria and saying that?
Well, it's been obvious to many of us for a very long time that we actually need to remove this fuel subsidy. But the fuel subsidy removal was not the problem. Even when the people demonstrated the last time, it was not so much about removing fuel subsidy, but about what are they going to do with the money they are saving from the fuel subsidy. All right, before they remove the subsidy and the people share the money among themselves. So Nigerians are not going to take that. But it is obvious now that we can't continue to pay trillions of naira every year to what I call phantom fuel importers for